Now I would like to introduce to you the next speaker of the afternoon, Mr. Dhruv Dhodi. Dhruv has been working in the field of networking domain for last 16 years in Huawei Technologies. His current designation is the lead architect for data communications business in India. Over the last years, he has worked hands-on on Huawei's routing platform and controller. He is currently working on R&D and standards team for various emerging technologies such as PCE, segment routing, and network slicing. He's an active IETF contributor in the area of path computation and traffic engineering with 26 RFCs as co-author and contributor. He's also serving as PCE WG co-chair at IETF. He's also part of routing directorate, sergeant at arms of IETF mailing list. He's founding member and secretary of India Internet Engineering Society and INTC in Industry Network Technology Council. Over to you, Dhruv. Welcome again.
Thanks, Saurav. Hi, everyone. Thanks to iNOC team for inviting me to speak. And I'll try to keep it in time. So let's get started. I'll be talking about PCE and its relationship to SDN. We have covered the intro, so let's move on. This is the outline. We'll talk about PCE and its relationship to SDN. Basically, that sums up the outline for the talk today. So let's set the setting. So where does PCE plays a role is where we have to do path computation. And when we have to do path computation is when we have to do better traffic engineering. So idea of traffic engineering, basically we need to move beyond reachability, that we don't just care about, oh, whether I can reach a point A from point B, but what is the traffic characteristics when I send the traffic on that path. So we have to go more than reachability. So in terms of engineering, basically what that means is we need to move away from shortest path first to constrained shortest path called CSPF. And I need to take care of many more constraints than what we used to do with just OSPF or ISIS cost, IGP cost. I need to take care of a lot more constraints. So that's the idea. Now, to a bunch of operators, I don't think I need to explain why we need to worry about traffic engineering. We need differentiated services. We need to have more reliability. Sometimes you guys do maintenance, so you need to reroute your traffic across some points. Now we are talking about network slicing and 5G, and of course, the need for traffic engineering is quite evident. So moving from simple networking and reachability, which is what's the job of a IGP is, to traffic engineering, basically we need to know a little bit more about our network. Topology is must, nodes, links, connectivity. Then comes the capability of those nodes and links. What is the fixed information like bandwidth available, as well as real-time information like delay, packet loss, and other metrics. Then what kind of traffic that actually flows through my network. So the traffic patterns play a very important role. I need to know in advance, what are the demands that will be there in my network? Who are the two people who are going to talk more? What is the traffic matrix? Things like that. And of course, more errors handling and network planning. So how do we do traffic engineering? Of course, we need to understand these traffic flows and then control those traffic flows via configuration, via policy, via various management tools. So traffic engineering is not a new concept. It's been there for a long time in our networks. But even in the idea that my head node can do path computation, and maybe I set up and signal the path as computed by head node, things are still not perfect. We still have a problem. And what's the problem is, let's take this network and all links here are, say, of the cost or have bandwidth of 10 GB. And this is the order in which I set up my paths in my network, where A to E asks for 6 GB and I give him the path on the top. But when C to D, the green path, asks for 8 GB, this link is no longer available because 6 GB is already allocated. So I take a much longer path to reach D. The same thing happens when C needs to talk to G. Again, this link has been used up. I have to go through a much longer path. So even when we used to do simple traffic engineering via CSPF calculation, we still were not optimizing the whole network. And that's where the main problem used to lie. If we have a global view, if A has no idea what C is going to set up, and C has no idea what A going to set up. So since there was nobody who had a global view of what will be the set of paths that will be need to be set up in my network, my traffic engineering was always suboptimal, right? So only if I have a good view, if I had set up the path using the below set of links, these links would have been easily available, and I would have got better path with better delay and better other constraints, and able to satisfy the requirement of the network as a whole. So that's where the global view of the network plays a very important role. And that's where path computation element comes in. It's basically an entity that does path computation on behalf of the network using advanced algorithms. This is from RFC 4655, the very definition. So the good part of the definition is it's an entity. That means it can be put it in your NMS, it could be on your device, it could be a designated router in your network, it could be anything. It could be as a popular SDN controller where you have the PC running. What were the main reason for introducing PC in the network? As we talked, that source node would have limited visibility. We also need to worry about multi-domain, multi-layer networks. Again, somebody with a global view is much more needed. Source node may not have the capability to do advanced computation. What's the reason? As in when, like, MPLS and these things have been moving towards edge of my network, and the devices which are on the edge of the network are not the most computationally advanced. So if they have to do complex computation, that becomes a problem. So offloading it to specialized devices, specialized servers make a lot of sense. And of course, to improve optimization better, and now the network slicing and 5G and advanced algorithms are making this important. Just a simple like analogy, we all use Google Maps. Why we use Google Maps is because we want somebody who has a better view of the traffic, not just what I can visibly see from my eyes at a cross junction, but somebody who has a better view. So that's why we use maps when we are in the traffic, and the same concept applies in our network as well. Somebody with a global view can place and suggest you better roads or better paths to take and avoid accident, avoid pileups, etc. And the idea of path computation being you need to aware of the endpoints, some constraints, what you need to optimize, what is the final result, and your database is every roads which interconnect to which road is one direction, bi-directional, which has more, which is a bigger road, which is a small road, all that stuff. That's traffic engineering. So what is the set of concepts in PCE? You have the server, which is called the PCE. This is the one who does the computation. Client is somebody who asks for it. The protocol between the PCC and PCE is something called as a PCEP, and it is run on a TCP. It uses TCP, and it has been standardized in a PCE working group. This working group was chartered in 2004, so it's been quite a while now. Our first RFCs were RFC 4655, where the definition of PCE has been established. And since then, around 54, or this number would have been now 57, I think, since I last updated this slide. So this is a quite an old working group, which has come up with new and new features over time. I'll skip this one to save some time. And now let's talk about the protocol. So the initial idea of protocol was a very simple client server protocol. PCC request for a computation. At the time of requesting a computation, you ask who are the two endpoints, what are the constraints, what is my path computation requirements. That's it. PCE used to respond with the path, or in case if it cannot compute the path, it used to give us the reason. Look, these constraints are what you're asking for in my network cannot give you. This is the best I can give you. Let me know if you need it. Things like that. So this was our simple protocol back when we started with and the set of messages that are useful to run this client server protocol. Over the initial years of PC working group, we developed the basic protocol, a mechanism to do inter-domain path computation. That is not just PCC and PCE, but how one PCE in domain 1 communicates with another PC in domain 2 to make sure that we can do inter-domain path computation. That has always been one of the key use cases for deploying PCE. And of course, when you do interdomain, you need to take care of confidentiality, some new constraints that not when I need to exclude a particular network or exclude a particular AS, all that stuff comes under exclusion, multiple optimization criterias, not just give me shortest path, but I may want to optimize bandwidth or delay or optimize a bunch of paths rather than a single path. So all these are the ways to optimize. That happened in objective function, support for multicast, support for hierarchy of PCE, where IP optical comes in a play, or where you have like multiple domains and a parent PCE on the tops, which is coordinating things among domain PCEs. Support for optical network. So we have support for GMPLS, WSON. These days, work on FlexGrid is also going on. And of course, PCE has always been something that works for both IP and optical. And that's why they have been used for doing interlayer path optimization as well. So all this while, the PCE was stateless. And that was a problem, that it could only compute path when somebody asked for it. And that's where the problem is, that we want PCE to be stateful. And by stateful, it means that it doesn't just know what's the network, but also know what are all the set of paths that are established in my network. And it has two flavors, a passive and active. The passive one would use that information, but would still wait for PCC to request for changes. But an active one would be like a PCE immediately pushing changes directly to the PCC. So this was the work that we started doing in PCE working group, making our PC server much more strong, having him the capability to take control over the path, as well as the innovative thing after that was even initiating the path, that you don't have to go and configure at the source node, and the source node has to ask you that why don't PCE takes over. PCE can act on its own. And again, in the programmable world, and where we want the servers to take do network operations on your own without using configuration mechanism, the PC initiated lets us have ephemeral paths, the auto initiated path in my network, and create them and tier them on the fly without any issue. So that's the next advancement that we did in the PC working group. Made it stateful, add capability for initiating paths. And of course, in the last talk yesterday, there was an introduction to segment routing. And I feel like, segment routing benefit would come only when it is coupled with somebody like a PCE, where there is an intelligent entity that can compute those label stack or V6 paths and react to the network change. And that's where the PCEP protocol comes in. And PCE can help calculate what is the label stack that needs to be pushed on the device. And when there is a change in the network or there is an impact for some other paths, it can override the previous changes. So again, the PCE plays an important role when it comes to segment routing network. And not just SR-MPLS, it plays an important role for SR-V6 as well. And though PCE was initially very tightly coupled to MPLS data plane, we have worked on it to make it much more generic, so that anywhere you need path computation, it could be used. So even when you have IPv6 addresses which define a SR-V6 path, which is put in the IPv6 extension header, PCE can help you compute the path, because path computation is the same. It's just the data plane is different. So of course, PCE is a pretty good fit here as well. So we talked about...
I would just remind you that we have 5 more minutes. So
yes, I put the timer on and I kept the timer running. I know that's happening.
Sure,
thank you.
Thanks.
So let's me quickly, assuming folks know about SDN. SDN is quite old now. But main thing was that when SDN came in, it felt like, oh, it's something new. It's something that has not been done before. And there was a part of that SDN, especially the idea that you had to make your devices completely dumb and run all your control plane up at the controller. That's something which was like very open flow based view of an SDN that might be new. But the idea of programmability, the idea of a controller, the idea of a central entity that has a global view of the network, that's agile, that's programmable, that's based on open standard, that existed. Look, we had PCE already. It was just not called SDN. And there is a pretty good mapping between the SDN model and the PCEP protocol that already existed. In fact, after this, in the PC working group, we start asking ourselves question that why can't PCEP be used as a southbound interface for anybody who wants to use SDN network, and especially in a service provider network where MPLS data plane and the protocols like PCEP and BGP are already quite well used. Why can't PCEP act as a southbound interface as well? What is missing in PCEP? And if we can add, it can be considered as a full-fledged SBI. And we came up with that. It's called PCCC, where instead of just talking to the head nodes, we also have a PCEP session to the internal nodes, and we can use this PCEP session also to program the devices in the network as well. So this has been standardized. The architecture has been standardized in RFC 8283. PC extension is currently in the working group last call, which is when we do the final run and try to standardize this as well. So it has a concept of a central control instruction, and this is a generic instruction that can be used for SRv6, MPLS SR, static LSP, etc. Also, we have a role in traffic classification. So not just establish the path, but PC could also be used as a way to tell which traffic needs to flow on this path. We all know BGP flow spec, and this is a PCEP version of that we can use the same protocol, that when you are creating a path, you can also tell what traffic needs to flow on that path using the same protocol as well. So this is my last slide, and please come in with your questions. And if there are no questions, I can use that time to explain a few things that that I haven't skipped. If there are more questions, I will answer that offline. So continuing with the stuff which I would like to talk a little bit is in PCEP in the current days, I think segment routing is one of the hottest topic. So there is a lot of extensions that have been happening in PCE to support for segment routing. We talked about segment routing yesterday, and I think Shivlu Jain from Cisco gave a very good talk. There are a lot of things which are pretty good, but there are a lot of things that is kind of missing. So the missing part is basically how do we do OAM when there is no signaling in my control plane? So what kind of things which are missing? How can I do traffic accounting? How can I make sure that some kind of bandwidth part also can be taken care in the network? So for this to happen, PC working group, there's a lot more new work happening. There are things like path segment. There is things like IOM, where in Setu OM and use PCE to initiate that. PCCC remains to be a hot topic. SR policy. You would also note something that actually there are now competing set of protocols. BGP does something. There is a BGP SR policy. There is a PCEP SR policy. You can do this with NetConf and YANG. So as a network operators, the main question would be that among these choices, that now ITF is standardizing all of these because everyone has their favorite tool, and ITF has believed oh, let's give people options and let's see what the market decides, whether people would like to use BGP as a way to configure SR policy or PCE, or use YANG, gRPC or something else. So this would be a very important question when people bring in segment routing in their network. It is not just the SR data plane. It is equally important to think that how would you manage that, right? And we have one question. Can PCEP functionality be merged or replaced with BGP address family to minimize number of protocols in the network? So actually, a very good question. In fact, what you would see is that BGP has an address family, but focused on the SR policy. So at least in the SR world, the BGP and PCEP is running hands in hand. There are a set of features that you would find in both protocols. We are borrowing things from BGP like flow spec, and PCEP is and BGP is borrowing some of things from us. BGP doesn't have a way for anybody to request path computation that PCEP has, and some operators feel, oh, I kind of need that. I want to have an ability for the node to decide, oh, something is going wrong, and can you recompute and redo path? BGP is not a client-server protocol, so it fails there. PCEP wins there. BGP is already very well deployed at all the border routers. They have BGP LS, which is a very strong protocol used to get topology information. they have a win here. In fact, PSEP also has a PSEP LS. So there has been a little bit this going on in IETF. Both protocol have such a history. Of course, BGP is much older, but both have a well-established base. So optical people especially prefers PSEP. The optical people don't have BGP as much deployed there. So they have been using PC. So they kind of see, oh, I want to use one protocol only, and can PSEP fiddle all these blocks? And that's why you would see a lot of activity that we are doing is trying to make one protocol that satisfy a lot more requirements. In fact, now Yang and NetConf is our biggest this thing, because everybody's moving towards that. And some of the things can also be satisfied by that protocol. But since they are a configuration protocol, there are some things that people don't like about them. People like this TCP based simple protocol that can be encoded, decoded pretty quickly. That has some advantage. Can PC also compute parts for LDP based ISP network? Well, LDP based ISP network don't require end-to-end path computation, because that's dependent on IGP next hop calculation. So there is no need. But what you will find interesting is there is a proposal that's called PC for IP, native IP. That is, look, my network doesn't have MPLS. It has just IP, but I still want to do very minimal traffic engineering. And can PC help me? How PC helps you? By picking out which BGP pair to use. So they set up multiple BGP sessions and try to use PC to decide on which BGP session should I advertise a route. So there are interesting things that are happening in native IP as well, but not for LDP based system. There is actually no requirement there. Are there any more questions? If not, I'll just move on to my last slide. PCs continue to evolve. You have seen that it came into new types of network. There are new deployments, new data planes. 5G and network slicing can also play quite a bit role. We know we need somebody to do computation. The question is whether the protocol, the PSEP protocol, is a good fit, or whether we need to use BGP or Yang or some proprietary mechanism. Because now between controller to controller, we also need to worry about proprietary protocol. Like people see that maybe we don't need an open protocol, and we could be happy with a proprietary protocol. Last information, if this interested you, since I chair the PC working group, if any of you are interested, please come and join the working group. And I would like to introduce you to the IETF activities as well. And our participation from India has been growing, and we would like to continue to grow. But where we have something missing is participation from the operator community. So I would like folks from the operator community to help us in furthering IETF participation from India. This is the organization IIESOC. It's been running for 3 years. We do events like Connections and RFCs we love. We have an IETF Community India mailing list. If this is something that interests you, join. And I think I'm done over time, so I will give my time. Thanks, Saurav.
Thanks a lot, Dhruv. Thank you for picking up the Q&A section as well.